Your sister is right, it is kind of funny.
Your word today is beguile.
Only a little bit.
It's what? Beguile.
I thought it was beguile.
No, it's beguile.
Oh. It could be pronounced, you never know. Yeah, certainly. How does that come about? How the words are pronounced differently but both are acceptable?
Because people
Sure.
have accents.
Yeah, and it goes back to if it has a long vowel or a short vowel and linguistics and way back when whoever decided.
Do you know of that restaurant, the
Paper Lantern.
No,
Did you see
not that
it?
one.
It's like toast.
Yeah, it's
It's
sad.
horrible.
No, do you know
Yeah,
the
I'm
restaurant
smiling.
called like Chapels or
Oh, yeah.
Chappelle's.
How is it pronounced?
I
Well-
pronounce it Chappelle's.
We always said chapels, but
Because,
Really?
yeah, because my dad was like, oh, that's Chappelle's, and then, my grandparents was like, no, it's Chapels, that's how it's pronounced, and we're like,
I would ask the owner, but I'm still irritated that they moved, so.
They're Southwestern.
They used to be downtown on Broadway.
They're a good
Oh.
restaurant. And Catablue is in that shopping center too. I love Catablue.
I know, but I don't like where they moved to either.
Yeah.
They were downtown.
I
in a
liked
really
how
cool
they were in
building.
a cool building.
Now they're in like a shopping.
Strip
Yeah,
mall.
shopping
Yeah.
mall. It's
I'm
like
like,
it's not a special restaurant.
we used to go there on
So
Mother's
good.
Day. It is an awesome restaurant.
So
If
good.
you get a chance to go for some special occasion, I would go. It is an awesome restaurant. But it used to be downtown on Broadway. Broadway and Calhoun are really, cool old streets, but, and it was in such a cool old building. Anyway, beguile is your word. It means to trick or deceive. The thief beguiled his partners into surrendering all of their money to him. So it's a pretty easy word. You can put an ED or a D on it, ING, S. Says a week from today, weather permitting. We shall see.
Apparently we're supposed to get another big storm next week.
Yeah, Tuesday there's an 80% chance of snow, my husband told me this morning, so.
And tonight we're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches.
Yeah, sleet, icy mix tonight, so be careful out there.
Probably not gonna have my fatigue again. I'm gonna go nuts. I told my mom, I was like, you're gonna have to put me in a safe asylum. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm not kidding.
From working with kids?
Yeah. No, from having all this snow.
Oh, I see.
It's making me
I think
crazy.
it's pretty.
It didn't
I
bother
like
me.
snow.
I do too, it didn't bother me at all.
Like, it's nice because I love it when
I
there's a
like
lot of
it
snow.
because
but
It's
it's not
pretty
really
when you don't
cold.
drive in it.
But like last winter we didn't even have like a winter.
Yeah.
It snowed like twice.
I
was
love
like,
that.
what
That
is
was
this?
awesome. That's not a winter. Okay, we're talking about yearbook for a few minutes. I brought a couple from when I used to do yearbooks where I taught, a couple different places. This is a Columbia
So
City
huge.
yearbook. Homestead has some of the most awesome yearbooks I have ever seen in my entire life. And Rod Kuhn ran that program forever. What?
I said I could bring one in. We have several.
Would you bring one? I absolutely love them, and they have an awesome newspaper as well. But when I was back in, teaching in the public schools, I did yearbook and newspaper at 2 of the schools I taught at. I didn't do it at Southside, but this was our most expensive yearbook. Doing a yearbook is like buying a car. You can get the just basic model without any of the frills, the power this, the sunroof, all of that. And every time you add something, you increase how much the production and publishing costs. It cost $60,000 to do this yearbook.
Oh.
Okay. And that was the most expensive one. And you make that money by the sales of your yearbooks. Columbia City had about 1,500 students, and it's a good year if half your student body buys a yearbook, okay? So, because you have to think of brothers and sisters. So if your yearbook is $50, which most of them are, it's a $50 yearbook, and you sell, I don't know, 600. Okay, so what is that? 30,000, okay. So there's 30,000 of your money. Okay, so you've met half of your budget. The other half you make by selling ads. You know how you guys sell ads to put in your Nutcracker program? Just multiply that by hundreds, okay? We sold all kinds of ads and they are all at different prices, just like you guys would do. The ads and the index kind of run together, the last part of the book. And then we also sold this thing called baby ads, and that helped bring in money as well. We made about 18,000 from ads.
Wow.
Okay, so now we're at 48. Okay. And then baby ads. Parents went crazy for these. If you're the parent of a senior, you would buy a baby ad. And you'd put a picture, some people put pictures of their graduate as a baby and then as a senior, and then you would write something nice, or something like, you finally made it, whatever the case may be. But, and the bigger, well, some of the bigger ones are more expensive. Some people did half page. Some friends got together and their parents chipped in and they did a full page, okay? But, we sold quite a few baby ads. And those ranged, you know, in price, so that helped the budget as well. So, there are a couple different covers you can get. You can get this leather looking cover, both of these, which are my favorite, because I'm more of a traditional person in every aspect of my life, I think. In how I dress and how I decorate my house and how I choose yearbooks, I'm just more traditional. But there's also a yearbook that has a slick cover, like ours. Those are called lithograph, okay? And they're usually cheaper. But I liked the leather look, and you can get the leather look with grain. Do you see how it has the design on it? Or you can get the plain, okay? The first thing you have to do is decide on a theme for your yearbook. And Columbia City was going through a lot of changes, and so the theme was change, and we put it in iridescent because it changes when you move it. And these were sent away to be judged. They were actually, that's why we went to New York, to Columbia University, the Ivy League school. They had a great big journalism workshop that we went to, and we would always take our book to be judged. It was so fun. And we won a few things, but each yearbook has a name as well, depending on what school it is. And Columbia City's yearbook was called the Columbian. And when I taught at South Adams, what was theirs called? They were the South Adams Starfires. We wanted to change it to the Comet or the Constellation, but it had to go through board approval. I forget what theirs was called. But I use yearbooks called the Artibus. Ball States is called the Orient. It has a name that stays with it every year, but the theme changes. And then you take this theme and you build your whole yearbook around this theme, is what you did. We had some things in color, and of course that added to the $60,000 budget, was having color. Columbia City's colors were burgundy and white, so there were some things in those colors. And then you decide on a design, and I had a computer lab attached to my classroom, so a lot of it was done on a program called PageMaker, which is now probably obsolete, and it was replaced with a program called InDesign. And you do all this on the computer, your picture placement and everything. And you choose a font, you try and stick with that font if possible. Every picture is captioned, everyone is named, because when you don't caption anything or name anything, 20 years from now when you look back, it's hard to tell who was who. Every section has a headline, and that's one of the reasons I brought this, was so we talked about adding sections to our yearbook, and you could maybe look through here and get some different ideas on what sections we wanted to add. But this is called spot color. If you notice, the first so many pages were in full color, which is very expensive. And then you can't have a whole book in color when it's this big, or it would be outrageous. It'd be more than 60,000. Then you have what's called spot color, and you pick a few colors or whatever your budget allows, and you use that throughout the book. We went with dark green, burgundy, and navy because it goes with the cover. And this is the sports section. I mean, everything is designed, even the page numbers, everything. And after sports is a huge, huge deal. We have what's called a pullout. When a team does really well, you can make an addition to your book and stick it in there. And we were a fall delivery book. You didn't get your book till the fall. And some schools are a spring delivery, which means they get it before they graduate. But when you do that, then you don't get graduation or prom or any of the spring sports in your book. So we always chose to deliver in the fall, and the seniors or their parents just had to come back and get their books. And this is the student life section, which is, I think, where we would add some stuff, like we had a spring break spread. This is called a spread, 2-page spread. We had a spread over the school play. The school, they had a huge show choir spread over the show choir. Prom, honor convo, graduation, and then the seniors always did a panoramic picture. And then you get into, this looks like the sports section. And then after the sports section, you get into the clubs, and they had a ton of clubs. And then you get into the boring part, which is so funny because that's the picture everyone goes to first. It's their boring headshot. And beside each senior, we put like what they were involved in all 4 years. Seniors got a bigger picture. And we tried to have little surveys to break up the monotony of like these are faculty pictures, and you can guess which faculty they were. There's their senior pictures, just to break up the monotony of these panels of pictures. And then after the headshots, there's the superlatives that you guys have, you know, who's most likely to do what. Juniors, their pictures are a little smaller. And then we have all the team pictures from all the sports. And then we put like a journalism spread in the back. And you always have a note, that's one of our trips to New York, the group that went. And that's that book. And if you can see, when you look at a yearbook, it's divided into 16 or 18 page groupings. Do you see how they're sewed in there? And I'm telling you, when the yearbooks come in the fall, it's like Christmas. People were lined up out my room, down the hall to pick up their book.
That's hilarious.
So that's one book. And then this one, this costs a little more because of the cutouts. And this theme was Guess You Had to Be There.
Cute.
And this is kind of the index, the page things start on, the table of contents, I mean. This is like your introductory page. But you can see, since the cover was red, we went with like orange and red and green and like the rainbow colors. And went with a lot of circle pictures, another geometric shape because we had the square on the front. These are the things that the judges would look at, whether or not you carried out your theme. And each section had the title of the section on its side like that.
I'm quite confused. Yeah.
What?
I was like,
Picture.
what at the bottom?
Homecoming usually got 2 spreads, and we tried to cut it down a little bit depending on They had a service group called Eagles in Flight, because they were Columbia City Eagles, and they always did things around town to help people out. They had a fall musical. We always did a lip sync, teachers did. It was really, really fun. Right before Christmas break. They had a semi-formal. They had a coffee house where they read poetry and sold coffee. They had a winter fest. Spring break pictures, those had to be highly edited. The spring play. Boy, this brings back memories. Fantacular, that's what they called their show choir spring show. It was awesome. Prom. The honors convo was huge, another graduation. And then academics. Athletics was a huge section. Again, same kind of thing. Each section we tried to go with different colors. Seniors. Now, each class in a public high school has money. And sometimes the senior class would chip in and pay to have all their senior pictures in color, but that cost hundreds of dollars. Sometimes they would buy a tree and plant it on the school property and have a little plaque put in the ground, donated by the class of 2012 or whatever. Sometimes they would use it for a class trip, it just all depends on what they wanted to do.
In Culver, that sounds ridiculous, but they donated a clock, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it sits in the yard and it says from the class of I think it was 19
Mm-hmm.
something.
At Southside, they have Ivy Day in the spring, and that's been going on since, the school was built in 21. So, every senior class takes an ivy plant and plants it along the building. That's why the school's covered in ivy. It's just a really cool tradition. Yeah, I really like it. And Calhoun is blocked off because they have the Ivy Day parade where all the seniors wear their cap and gown for the whole Ivy Day. But these are more baby ads, and then some companies would pay big money to have a color ad, from our programs here. But if a business owner in town had a senior who graduated, they would combine their business ad with their, and we always had a lot of ads. It was a one high school town. It was a one high school town, so it was easy to sell ads to. It's not like here in Fort Wayne where you have tons of high schools competing for money. Index, I think an index is extremely important, and you get docked big time at competition. If you don't have an index, you can't find anybody. And we had some autograph pages. Surprised we didn't have any memorials. There were always kids who died. Always in Columbia City, every year usually.
From murder?
No, car accidents, because country schools, you have car accidents. Country schools also have a lot of guns, because it's the country and they hunt. They have gun accidents. It's really sad. One year the superintendent's daughter was killed on her way to a concert. One year there was a car accident during I-Step and a kid was killed. Kids commit suicide. So we try and put a memorial in the back of the book for them with whatever their parents want to do. But anyway, these are some yearbooks that I've done, and the kids did, I just advised them. But it's really fun. And when you have a yearbook staff, I would recruit heavily from I taught freshman English and yearbook and newspaper, which was perfect because I could recruit from the freshman class, you want to be on yearbook, and it was kind of by invitation only because I wanted really good, hardworking kids. And you had to interview with my staff and me. I'd have recommendations. It was kind of a privilege to be on the yearbook staff. And newspaper staff was really fun. I ended up liking it better because you could cover more controversial topics, and it was just really fun. But you can look through there and get some ideas, maybe on some topics that you wanna use to add more pages to our book, if you wanted to. If you could bring in a homestead book, I would love it.
I randomly just like look through them.
Yeah, those
They're
were
so
my,
good.
those
My
were what
siblings
I,
just don't put them ever in their room, so they just lay around our house.
I would use
Probably
those as
find
my
them
inspiration.
They're so nice.
The homestead books, yes, they are beautiful, and he won tons of,
They're
I don't
so
think he's there
colorful.
anymore. I actually think he was escorted from the building.
Why?
Well, publications advisors are known to be very opinionated
Yeah.
and, because, see, it's First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of press. So, but you also have to, mesh with your principal. And my principal at the time was a man who's on our school board here, Mr. Depker, who supplies all of the chocolate chip cookies. You've seen him, kind of a larger man. He's come before, but he was my principal for 9 years at Columbia City, and he would give me whatever I wanted. I really had it made there. Like, when I first took over the yearbook, I didn't have a computer lab. And I went down to his office and I said, I really need a few computers in my room if possible. Within 6 months, I had a whole little lab of 10 computers attached to my room. I mean, I really had a good thing going there. But I was also there till like 6 or 7 at night, and I just had Jack, and it's a 45-minute drive from my house. So it was a lot on my plate. Newspaper, yearbook, teaching English, 3 kids, and the drive. So that's when I went to Southside, which was like a mile from my house. So, but that brought on a whole other realm of issues in itself. But I wouldn't change any of my experiences. They've all been very good and interesting and challenging in their own way. But I have more yearbooks at home, but those are probably two of the best ones that we were very, I was very proud of them, and the student body really loved them. So, and they're big. I wanted a big, thick leather book. I finally got it. So anyway, we can get some ideas from there at least. Hamlet, did you finish that scene? We were almost done with scene 1, act 2, Ophelia and Polonius.
Can I have a bathroom real quick?
Sure.
It's like, because everyone's changing at this time.
And shush them, will you? Okay. So what happened at the end there of Act 2, Scene 1? It was Rinaldo and Polonius, they were discussing, and that was a couple days ago when both of the Laurens were Rinaldo and Polonius, remember that? And then Ophelia, how now Ophelia, what's the matter? What's wrong with her? Remember? Olivia?
Well, Hamlet comes to her and he looks really confused, like he's seen a ghost, basically, and Polonius thinks he's mad and kind of uses it against Hamlet to say she shouldn't date him.
It makes you wonder if that phrase, you look like you've seen a ghost, you know, or if that phrase comes from Shakespearean times. Yes, and so Polonius, Ophelia, of course, is still, she's just falling more and more in love with Hamlet, right? And Polonius is warning her, you know, be careful, right? Like a good father should, right? Anything else?
What was he telling Rinaldo to do? I didn't really follow that part.
Okay, anyone want to answer that? What was Polonius asking Rinaldo to do right before Ophelia? Yeah, Marnie.
I think to like go spy on his son. That's
Okay.
what I was getting from it, because it was like also to like, because Ronaldo's like going someplace to kind of like see what's up, who's doing what
Yeah.
business.
To spy on Hamlet?
Not on Hamlet, Polonius' son.
Who's
Laertes.
Yeah.
Laertes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. Go ahead, Marnie, could you repeat that?
Yeah, so Polonius is sending Ronaldo to go spy on his son to make sure that he doesn't get into bad stuff like the camp.
Yes. Does that answer your question, Olivia?
Mhm.
Okay. And then Ophelia comes in and, we discussed this while you were in the bathroom, Renee, but, you know, Polonius is just being a good father and warning Ophelia about Hamlet, and Hamlet looks like he's, you know, seen a ghost, which he has. So, does he come right out and say? No. No. All right, I think we're ready to start scene 2. King and Queen Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Okay,
I wish we had those names today.
We
What?
have
Wouldn't that be fun?
do what?
I wish we had those names today.
Yeah. Okay, who'd like to read the king's part? Do we have a king? King. Olivia be the king. Who's gonna be the queen? Marnay, you wanna be the queen?
Sure.
Okay. Guildenstern, Olivia, or Holly, and I need a Polonius.
Yeah.
A Polonius, how about Lauren Dini? Be Polonius. And I need Voltimand. Sounds like a very clever name.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
And that'll be Skylar.
Who
Chris,
shall not
if
be
you wanna
named.
mention
There's a
Yeah.
Rosencrantz, did you see that one? Right under the queen. I think
Yeah.
it speaks like once.
Oh,
Baltimore's, okay.
I'll read Rosencrantz.
Okay.
Okay. All right, King, you may begin.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover that we much did long to see you. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation? So call it, sith nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was what it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put him so much from the understanding of himself. I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, that being of so young days brought up with him, and sith so neighboured to his youth in Haver, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion